Anxieties will sit there in your stomach, but let the optimism of how I'm going to fix it and the hope of how to make this work just charge you forward. You know, just the only other way I can do it is I love the World War II movies. I get really lost in them. So if someone doesn't watch these, they're like, I don't know what that guy's talking about. But the bombers in World War II, and some of you guys have seen some of the movies that have been out in Apple and the Memphis Belle and all these different things, but even some of the historical recounts are fascinating. Where each one of these men that got up into these bombers, they talk about this emotion of like knowing the death rate in these bombers were just incredibly high. And as they would pull themselves up into this bomber, they didn't want to go. I mean, zero desire to go, but they kind of just like, I'm going anyways, here I go. And I don't want the other guys let them down it's like that attitude, that courage is what our mindset needs to have. It's like the moment hit, I know a bunch of bad can happen. I know the fears, I know the anxiety. I've got to find the positive, I've got to find the courage, and I've got to just focus on that. And all the bad that can happen through the process, I got to keep focusing on that. And that is how you work your way through it, because it doesn't mean something bad won't happen as positive as you are. It means it's going to happen, and you've got to keep that mindset strong, because that's how you navigate yourself through the process. And that navigation may be a day thing, that navigation may be 10 months, that navigation may be 4 years. But if you continue to be positive, you will navigate through it, and you'll be stronger on the other side.
That's incredible. It made me think of a quote that one of my friends shared with me. It was from Nick Saban, the coach of Alabama, the once coach at Alabama, an exceptional coach, winning record, amazing. And he said this, I don't know, I might be screwing this up, but maybe it was in their locker room or something, but it said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And Matt, what does that quote mean to you? When I share that and it lands on you, like, what does it mean to you?
The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If I have a core belief in certain parts of my mindset and I stay strong to that mindset of what they are, maybe it's abundance. Every action I have has an abundance mentality, meaning I share, I'm generous, I'm open. Whether it's a conversation, there'll be plenty of time for me to talk. I can listen. I have plenty of time to talk. If it's a food, I don't need to eat it all. People will be able to get as much I can eat later. If it's money, there's plenty of clients out there. I will find the clients. I don't need to be stingy. I don't need to be that selfish. But if your overall mindset is a lack of abundance, scarcity, or you've grown up with scarcity so you don't know abundance can exist, it's hard, man. Every time there's a conversation, you're talking. You're the one that never listens to anyone else. You're the one who's trying to be first in line because there might not be enough. You tend to be, just sitting in alone. There's never enough people. There's never enough. And so everything becomes that way. So I think to me, that's the mindset. It goes back to the mindset. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything is what our core beliefs are. And then our mindsets supporting those core beliefs will control our actions, whether we want them to or not.
Matt, let me give our listeners some encouragement here. And maybe this is kind of a recipe for maybe how you can get through this. I'm going to share with you what we've adopted in our family. A good friend of mine, Levi Gurno, actually shared this with me. But when something comes at you, right, and it's not good, it's negative, it has an effect on you, it's crummy, you don't want it, it's less desirable. We all get it, and it happens to all of us. I'm not suggesting that we just poo-poo it and never embrace it or address it, because emotions are real.
Yeah.
This is what he shared with me. Why don't you just adopt a mindset that you can have a 5-minute funeral? You got 5 minutes, Matt. You can piss, moan, complain, cry, laugh, whatever you want. You got 5 minutes. Then at the end of 5 minutes, let's go back to the discussion I was having earlier. You can either choose to be a victim or you can choose to be the victor. And I think that all too often we just stay in the 5-minute funeral. And the 5-minute funeral becomes an hour, a day, a week, a month. And then pretty soon we're like, holy crap, I'm in the spiral. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I get it. That does happen. But if we can train ourselves to have a 5-minute funeral, express some of the emotion, get it off your chest, but then boom, the light switch comes on and you say, I get to choose to be a victim or a victor. All right, what do I do, Matt? And it's almost that like, oh crap, there's Matt Walker in the back of my head again. I need to choose the victor. I should be the victor. And I just think it's a way to help us frame the way that we can think about these and address some of these challenges. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that, some of you are either alone working and you're, individual producers by yourself, and there's benefits to that, less interpersonal things you have to deal with, but there's also some negatives. There's some lonely moments, and there's some, lack of support. Most of us, though, are with someone, working with someone, or have to get through this life, and especially in our business, our clients are other people, and they have mindsets as well. I think that there's a high need for patience for others in their mindsets, and then patience with ourselves too in our mindsets. And I feel like it's one of those things with mindsets, we just expect it to be like, oh, I had a conversation about it, now go be perfected. And I think of Carson Wood-Manzi's thing that simple and easy are not the same thing. It's very simple to explain, you should think positively. Easy is not the same. It's simple to say walk up a mountain. It's not necessarily easy to walk up the mountain.
Yeah.
And so just remember that with yourself as well. It's like, just because we talk about positivity, or you expect others to be positive, or you expect other people to have a mindset of abundancy, you don't know what they grew up with. You don't know what their challenges are. In fact, their challenges may be so extreme, we should be cheering them on anytime they show any sort of bit of abundance mentality. So I think that's an important part of the journey of working with our clients. Be patient with them, listen to them, understand their mindsets, and then in addition to that, our employees that we work with as well.
Let's talk about a super important topic. I love this from a leadership standpoint. I want to talk about criticism as it relates to mindset. And how we okay, so Matt comes at me one day and he just starts criticizing me, or my wife just starts chirping into my ear, rah, 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 rah. Like it's negative, right? It's horrible. It's awful. It's like, what mindset are we adopting? Matt, how can criticism be a positive? How can it be a negative? Like, share your thoughts on this, because it's an intriguing concept to me relative to where people move and how they make decisions.
Yeah, so my father-in-law, Craig Smith, is one of the most amazing people with feedback and criticism that I've ever met in my life. Absolutely fantastic.
Masterful communicator too.
Oh, just brilliant. In fact, his interest in progressing as an individual is so high that he genuinely wants to know your authentic feelings of him. And he will ask great questions in a way of saying, hey, tell me about how I'm doing. How can I make your life better? And what have I done recently that may have offended you that would be good? Have you noticed our family culture? What are the things you like about our family culture? And what are some things you think could be different? In fact, he's been so good at opening himself up to criticism. His 3 amazing, wonderful daughters are really good at communicating to him ways that he can be better. And he's fantastic. He takes it. The problem is the poor boys that these 3 girls married are not masterful in receiving that wonderful feedback. And so I've got myself in some moments being like, this is really good feedback. I'm not ready for this. I'm not emotionally ready to handle this. And so what does it do? It comes back and lashing back out. So I think that that's a huge important thing to take. Look, none of us are going to be a Craig Smith in one day, but great leaders can take it. And great leaders have enough confidence in who they are that they can internalize it, recognize it, and make something positive out of it. And if we can't, great. Just be patient with ourselves. We're growing. But once we start getting offended, I mean, we're either being offended because what they're saying is so horribly wrong that it does not even fit society norms and is completely inappropriate, that we should hopefully have enough pity to maybe overcome it, although there's also things that I hope I'm putting this off, that it's just wrong. But the day-to-day communication from those that you love, you call friends and family, I'm not there yet, Jared, but I want to be a Craig Smith. I'm just not there yet.